Good evening, and once again, welcome to our City Council meeting. We have a full agenda tonight, and we have some very pleasant things to do tonight, so I'm glad to see you again here, and I hope that you enjoy the best parts of the meeting. I would like to ask everyone to stand up for a moment of silent meditation. I would like to ask Mr. Toomey to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item in the agenda is to accept the minutes. The attendance.
Council Vasquez, noted. Council LaPlante.
Here.
Council Toomey.
Here.
Council Reyes.
Present.
Council Almonte, noted. Council Aquino.
Present.
Council Brunel.
Present.
Council Vice President Alvarez Rodriguez.
Present.
And Council President Maldonado.
Present. Has everyone reviewed the minutes?
If I may, Council President?
Yes, go ahead.
I did not get to the minutes of March 18th, councilors. That's why it's not before you. Just the minutes for March 4th are completed for review and potential approval.
Okay. Are there any comments on the minutes of March 4?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 4th meeting.
There's a motion to approve the minutes of March 4. It has been properly seconded. Questions or remarks? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. Okay, public participation. I would like to call Mr. Malley to the microphone. Again, keep up to the time limit and identify yourself as usual. Thank you.
Good evening, Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, Honorable Member of the Lawrence City Council. Million thanks to Honorable Mayor Rivera and Superintendent Raleigh for their hard work, our teachers, in this proud moment they have contract after 3 years. It is a proud moment for our citizens that our teachers being appreciated and their union being appreciated. We as a citizen ask you at Honorable Mayor Rivera and this council to support our police officers and their union. The leadership of Honorable Chief Fitzpatrick have done excellent to protect our citizens. We demand of you support the union and superior officers union. Our citizens are witnessing the tremendous work done by DPW workers. Storm after storm, they prove they've been the best worker. They need your support for the union contract. Our public school moving forward with the leadership of Honorable Superintendent Raleigh and Mayor Rivera's support of our teachers. The teachers such as Mr. Mendez from Lawrence High, a superstar, a community leader, an example of volunteer work our citizens. The sad news of the 2 firefighters' death in Boston is a compelling reason for you and Honorable Mayor Rivera support of our firefighters and their union. Let's move our city forward. We support our union, police department union, and firefighters union, and our best education for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Mr. Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name, my name is Dick Russell. I reside at 34 Cross Street in Lawrence. First, I must put my 2 cents worth in on the situation involving the city attorney. I haven't been able to figure out whether he has become a persona non grata on the 3rd floor of this building or whether it's a ploy to renegotiate his contract. My thoughts are that it might be better to have someone that you may not like that knows what he's doing as opposed to bringing in someone who you like who has no idea what's going on. I would hesitate to guess what the learning curve would be for his position. Next, The mayor preached being fiscally conservative by trying to save money wherever possible. Can somebody explain to me how the city is saving money by giving Lawrence General Hospital a free contract for 3 years and not allowing them to avoid paying any expenses of the emergency call center? Any institution that pays its CEO $675,000 a year and has a $10 million surplus can certainly afford to throw money in our direction. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what I'm holding in my hand?
No.
It's a copy of the Acts of 2010, Chapter 58, titled An Act Providing the Financial Life Stability of the City of Lawrence. I've provided you with excerpts of various sections of this piece of legislation. Most importantly, Sections 1 and portions of Section 4. Section 1 defines various words used in this law, most notably overseer. Section 4 defines the duties of the overseer. The important section to the City of Lawrence right now are Sections 4A1, 4A6, and 4.2. My question is, has the overseer been consulted in the awarding of this ambulance contract to LGH and their non-payment towards running of the emergency call center? I think that these issues are issues that the council should address prior to the budgeting process that will begin in a little over a month. Lastly, the council president has requested copies of my comments for his use. I have provided them with the requested copies. I will begin posting these comments, for better or for worse, on my Facebook page for those to see and use. Thank you for the time, and while I still have a few seconds left, I would like to congratulate the mayor, Mayor Sullivan, on his picture being on the wall, and the gentleman that will be getting the award for being the Eagle Scout. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person in line is Joe D'Amico. Where have you been, Joe?
I just saw you all week long at neighborhood associations meetings.
We miss you.
Good evening, councilors. It seems that I've been appointed as an advocate for people that own 3 deckers and up, including business people in the city. The values of property have going up immensely. 3 deckers, which was a poor property a few years ago, now is a major contributor to the city and taxes. I can attest to that by how big my bill just rose. The question I have to the councils, with all the new people on board, the issues of tagging, giving out tickets for inspectional service, tenants, landlords should be getting a warning first, ticket is after, the second offense. I've got people that are coming up to me, and I don't know why, because they figured I talk too much, that have got 2 tickets for the same violation, and they received them back to back. In other words, it was number 59 and number 60. They're willing to pay 1 ticket, they shouldn't be charged for 2. I'm just wondering if that's happening throughout the city. I know we like to have money to support the firemen and the police department, but there is a way of doing it correctly, and all I'm saying is, do not forget the smaller people that have fed the city for many, many years. Those are the biggest contributors. The problem is some of those people are getting old, and they can't raise their rents because we're getting hit by all these new apartments that have been coming in, and I bring it up every time when somebody decides to build a 50 apartment. And the paperwork you can find is on the History of Lawrence Archives, and you can go find, and what I'll say is, Groundworks gives the new breakdown of how many apartments are being built, whatever. And this is for the last 8 years. And all I'm saying is, in your spare time, if you have any, look into the archives. See how the tax rate was, how the people were making payments. And that's all I'm doing. I'm making that request. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaPlante, would you like to, before we do the unveiling of the picture? Yes, yes. You want to make a motion
I'd like to make a motion to take document number 9614 out of order.
Motion has been made to take document 9614 out of order, and it has been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Mr. LaPlante?
City Councilors, it's with great pleasure that I'm about to read this resolution from all of us for Tim LaRock, who is a new Eagle Scout here in the city of Lawrence. Tim is actually, and his dad Michael, who is here this evening, constituents of mine who live in Colonial Heights, and so it's a special day for me, and I'm sure for them, to get this resolution. They had a chance to meet the mayor prior to this resolution, and the mayor, being a former scout, had a few stories, and it was a very good meeting. But without further ado, I want to first congratulate you all, and then now read this resolution from the City Council. Be it known that we, the members of the City Council of Lawrence, Massachusetts, by and through this resolution, hereby honor Timothy LaRock for his achievement, earning the esteemed honor of being named as an Eagle Scout by the Boy Scouts of America, and state as follows. Whereas Tim is a lifelong resident of Lawrence who attended Sacred Heart School, St. Patrick's School, Central Catholic High School, and is currently attending the University of Massachusetts at Lowell. Whereas Tim joined the Cub Scouts in first grade, progressing through Webelos, and joined the Boy Scouts Troop 13 in the fifth grade. Whereas after a few years, Tim reached first class and joined the Order of the Arrow, or OA, the National Honor Society of Boy Scouts, with more than 176,000 members, recognizing scouts and scouters who best exemplify the scout oath and law in their daily lives. While in the OA, Tim participated in positions involving leadership responsibilities such as chapter chief and food service chairman. Whereas with the encouragement and support of his scoutmaster Kathy Armin, his mother and father Deborah LaRock and Michael LaRock, and his uncle, Tim embarked on an ambitious journey to earn the rank of Eagle Scout, which requires remaining active in the troop for a period of at least 6 months after achieving the rank of Life Scout, which of course presents its own challenges, living by the principles of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in daily life. 3, earning a total of 21 merit badges, which must include 13 specific areas of achievement, which include, without limitation, citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world communication, personal fitness, and family life. Whereas on his way to earning the coveted Eagle Scout title, Tim spent the last 3 summers as a member of the Watauga Count Reservation staff, and 2 years in the Discovery of Nature area of the camp, and most recently as Camp Director of Counselors in Training, finally earning the honor of Eagle Scout on June 20th, 2013. Whereas an Eagle Scout is a position of great responsibility and obligation, the foremost being to live with honor. The second is to be loyal. The third is to be courageous. The fourth is to be cheerful, all which must be exercised within the context of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, which requires a scout to be trustworthy. You can do that. Why don't you do the Scout Oath? Go ahead.
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Where it be resolved that we, the members of the Lawrence City Council, by and through this resolution, hereby honor Timothy LaRock, whose efforts serve to further the social, civic, and charitable advancement of the city of Lawrence, and hereby set our hands and cause to seal the city of Lawrence, Massachusetts, to be fixed hereto on this first day of April in the year of our Lord, 2014, and it is signed by the entire city council. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
I would like to entertain a motion to take document 10114 out of order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. When you look around the room and you see all these pictures, we know so little about the faces, because obviously we are too young to know about them, and probably because we have not taken the time really to know about these people who have in the past governed our city. And it would be nice sometime in the future if somehow we get to listen a little bit about these individuals who gave of themselves to serve our city. And obviously tonight we have a very memorable tradition of unveiling the picture of a former mayor. It's long overdue. It should have been done probably 4 years ago, but it was not. And I hope that no matter what happens, we never lose the tradition. I think we need to recognize those individuals who have given of themselves to serve the city. And recognition, obviously, is important because it's not an easy task to be a mayor. It's not an easy task to be a city councilor. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And the least that we can do is continue this great tradition of unveiling the pictures and portraits of those mayors who have given so much of themselves. And tonight we have the unveiling of the portrait of former Mayor Mike Sullivan, and I would like Michael to come forward. I would like, is Mayor Rivera around? Will you come forward, please? Let me say that I am not familiar with the process or tradition in the past, but obviously I'm very happy that we continue this tradition. And on behalf not only of the City Council and the citizens of our city of Lawrence, we congratulate you, and we recognize the amount of work that you put in to serve this city. So if you want to come forward.
Get the bell ready. Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. President, members of the Lawrence City Council, and Mr. Clerk, thank you so much for organizing and allowing that little bit of history to go up on the wall, and well said, Mr. President. This is all just, I think every picture here captures a piece of time in the history of Lawrence, and I am honored to have been a small part of that. And a lot of you, it's so exciting to come back here because I started out as a city councilor, and Councilor Reyes, I sat right in your seat for 2 years. And
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's an unlucky seat or what.
I know that
Claire
that show
Alvarez
was
and-
kind of special, yeah.
And it was, and you understand, I think, the importance of government, and I think, what you did a little while ago honoring Tim, an Eagle Scout, are really the stories that happen every week down here in the council chambers, and working together with the administration, and that's how government works, and that's why Lawrence is a great city. A lot of you, before I was in office, have always been volunteering in the city. The people that get up here for the 2 minutes, and some of the city councilors before they were councilors tonight have always gave back to the great events in this city. So it's a proud city. Mr. Clerk, thank you for really kind of coordinating this, and I think it does set a precedent on future mayors. Councilor Devers, State Rep Devers, we served together on the city council as well, so I'm proud to have my picture up right after him, and it's important for the history of the city. So also very proud to have my brother's picture up. A few back here. Of course, I don't know how he has all that hair left on his head in that picture. So I guess the key is to the future mayors, have your picture taken before you leave office, because you don't end up gray like I did. I made the mistake of having that taken just a couple of months ago. So, and to all of you, I've been honored to serve, and I still live in Lawrence here and look forward to helping the city in any way I can. So thank you all very much, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your service. Okay, let's move on with the agenda. Now we're going to go into the public hearing session. Mr. Clerk?
Document 303, 2013. Notice is hereby given the City Council will hold a public hearing Tuesday, April 1st, 2014, in Council Chambers, 200 Common Street at 7 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a proposed amendment to the revised ordinances for the City of Lawrence to be amended by adding a new paragraph to the municipal code concerning handicap parking to be inserted in proper order. East Haverhill Street South Side, beginning at a point southwest intersection of East Haverhill Street and Berkeley Street to a point 80 feet easterly of the intersection, beginning at a point on East Haverhill Street South Side to a point 100 feet easterly of the intersection of East Haverhill Street on its south side. To the extent there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity as published March 22nd.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak on regard to this document 30313? If there's none, anyone from the City Council?
Motion to approve?
Second.
There's a motion to approve, and it has been properly seconded.
Just what we've been doing now is the waiving of the 30 days. I just want to ask the council if she'd amend her motion.
Yes. Would you like to
To what?
add to your motion to waive the
Oh,
30
to
days?
waive the 30 day,
Yes.
yeah. Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk?
Document 59, 2014, notice is hereby given the City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 1st, 2014, in Council Chambers at 7 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a petition, presented by and on behalf of Comcast of Massachusetts Incorporated, 92 Glen Street, Lawrence, Mass., by and through its council members to grant permission to excavate the public highways and run and maintain underground conduits, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as said company may deem necessary, in the public way or ways referred to in a plan submitted dated 13th day of February 2014. Said underground conduits shall be located substantially in accordance with said plan. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Anyone from the public would like to speak to this document 5914? If there's no public participation, any other council members? Council members, I think that one of my biggest concerns whenever some work is going to be done on the streets is the quality of how the street is restored. And I think it is important that we maintain this in mind and that we ask the DPW department to make sure that they inspect once the work is completed and that they continue inspecting a few months after to make sure that we are not going to have problems with the way that the street was finished once the work is completed. Mr. Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, when these gentlemen take out a permit to dig up the street, on the back of the permit, it spells out the fact when they fill the hole back up again, they have to use something called flowable fill to do so. So that can be looked at when the engineer goes out to look at the job.
With this-
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just, I don't remember this particular document in the ordinance committee. So I'd just like to ask, is this part of the work that Lawrence Community Works is doing?
No,
Is
no, no,
that-
no,
This is all
no.
different.
This is different.
Yes. He is here? Oh, you didn't come forward. It's like-
Yeah, Ed Thompson, Comcast.
Oh, okay, because I was just about to say we should table it until
No, I'm here.
someone is here to, and you were, now I remember.
Yes,
You
yes.
see, I'm getting up there in age. But, although I think other people in, who are older than me are in much better shape. But anyway, I'm asking that you assure us that the fixing after you do the work of the street will be proper. You also said you were going to go back and ask whether we can use, what was that?
Yeah, President Maldonado requested that we infrared the patches on the
Right.
top, and that's absolutely acceptable. I talked to our people.
Oh, good.
We're absolutely going to do that. The flowable fill issue, if that's appropriate, we'll also do that.
Great, great. Because that will definitely assure that it will last far longer than the normal
Right.
process.
Yeah. So that was it. I just
Okay.
wanted to go, and I didn't see you in there. I thought you would come up during the public hearing.
Sorry.
But thank you so much for going back and checking into that and making sure that, you know, the concerns of the council are addressed.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I would like to entertain a motion to approve document 5914.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. If there are no more comments or remarks, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Clerk, document 6814.
Document 68, 2014. Second. Notice is hereby given the City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 1st, 2014, in council chambers at 7 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a proposed amendment to the revised ordinances for the City of Lawrence to be amended by adding, by deleting section 1032.020 of the municipal code, subparagraphs A, B, and C, and replacing them, with the new subparagraphs as delineated in the advertisement and posted on the website. Also amending the fines to violations for commercial parking prohibited on certain streets to $50, changing it from $15. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only, and persons wishing to be heard were afforded the opportunity, as published on March 22nd.
Is there any participation from the public?
Good
Yes,
evening,
Mr.
sir.
Mali.
Good evening, honorable member of the council. Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. On behalf of the citizen and our neighbors are against this proposal and respectfully request of you vote no. The reason being that this proposal goes against interest of some of our citizens. They are self-employed. They have their own truck for their businesses. And when Mayor Rivera was running, he really emphasized on the economic prosperity of our city and our citizens. And this goes against interest of our citizens. They are self-employed. They cannot park their truck in the vicinity of their home. Secondly, this proposal has a bit contradiction and is ambiguous about school buses, because he talks about parking school buses. Sometimes you see in the vicinity of different schools, the school buses need momentarily park within the definition of the city ordinance that define what's parking in order to get a student load and download. So respectfully request of you, deny this proposal because it gets interest of our citizen, self-employed citizen. Secondly, does not define how these self-employed citizens can park their commercial parking, does not answer the issue of the commercial parking here. So I strongly encourage you to deny and oppose such a proposal by Mayor Rivera. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Please identify yourself.
Good evening, councilors. Larry and Matthew Conlon from Conlon Products in 70 Shepherd Street in Lawrence. Over the last almost 30 years that we've been in the industrial park, we've never really had a problem with overnight parking and trailer trucks parking until the last couple, and this year it really pushed it over the edge. We had days that when it snowed, if a fire truck was coming, it wouldn't have been able to get up Shepherd Street. Tonight, when I left the industrial park, there was 6 trailer trucks, don't belong there. They don't service the industrial park. One of them was parked on the wrong side of the road. A whole 50 some odd foot truck with the cab is probably 80 feet long, parked on the wrong side of the road. And why the police department hasn't done a little bit more than they have, I don't think a $50 fine is gonna stop these guys. And most of them are all out-of-state plates, so they're going to just take off and not pay the tickets anyways. So, we support the bill. Maybe it's got to be a little bit tweaked to, go to the industrial park or something like that. When the industrial park was built in the 40s, the trucks weren't as big, the roads aren't as big as they should be today, and we had times this winter when cars and trucks could not get up the street. And somebody from the fire department is here, and it's lucky we haven't had a disaster. An ambulance, Crown Cock and Seal is very dependent upon the fire department, and they couldn't have got up there a couple of times, and they may have got stuck trying to get up there. And it's a shame that the DPW has to come back 2 or 3 times to do the job that they should do once. And they do it, if they can get there, they do a good job. But if they can't plow the snow right the first time, sometimes it's too late. And my son was there more than me this winter, so he might be able to tell you more.
It was pretty hectic in there this winter. Several of the trailer trucks that come off of Andover Street to make the turn had to stop basically in their tracks because the trucks were parked down as close. If you're familiar with the end of Shepherd Street, there's a group of mailboxes. The trucks were right to the edge of the mailboxes, so if a tractor trailer comes off of River Road, they have to slow down to make their swing. They lose their momentum. Then they stopped, and there was so much snow. It was a challenge for everybody this winter, but certainly the obstructions there, and the DPW could not plow properly because of the obstructions. It really created a challenge. And there were several landscapers in the park that actually, they made some money towing the trucks up the street. They chained them to get them up to make the deliveries. So I witnessed it firsthand. It was pretty challenging. It doesn't seem to be as prevalent on Glen Street. It seems to be Shepherd Street.
And we had Councilor Eileen come by one time to see it, and she was kind of astounded at how bad it was. And then after that, it causes enormous potholes, because the ice and snow that they couldn't move the first time, when they come back to try to move it now, it tears up half the hot top with it. So, we think we definitely think there should be a better, stronger ordinance there is, and maybe even stronger than it's written.
Thank you.
And I think the fire department might like to speak to the safety aspect, too. Thank you, councilors. Thank you, Evan.
Anybody else from the public? Please identify yourself.
Captain Bob Wilson, Lawrence Fire Department. I'm actually here on another matter, and when this came up, I thought it was an opportunity for me to talk a little bit about the safety issue with the parking. I understand it's kind of twofold. You have your residential and you have your commercial areas. But when it comes to fire apparatus, ambulances, it doesn't matter to us. We need to get through. We noticed this year, and obviously we're coming into spring, things will get a little easier now. This is more of a thing to look into for next year, I do support some sort of ordinance. I'm not sure if an increased fine is enough. It may not be enough to deter the chronic problem that it sounds like the industrial park's having, maybe not so much in the residential area. But between the commercial parking and the plows, the snow, and us trying to get through to an incident is, we're trying to get 3, 4, 5 trucks at a time sometimes to a small area. Jasper Street recently, it presents a lot of challenges. The industrial park, God forbid, would obviously be a large-scale incident, which would require our access to all areas in the streets for hydrants and in the parking lots. So to be blocked by multiple 18-wheelers would be quite a detriment to our operations. So I speak on behalf of, I understand the residents, their problems, and the industrial. I look at it strictly from a public safety standpoint. This all presents a problem to us. Ambulance, police, fire. If they can't plow properly, even if we can get through, it may not be plowed properly. And now we have skidding and can't get through, and it delays response. So it's a good ordinance. I think in the right direction. Maybe it should be tweaked a little bit, but I definitely support something that would help us get through to our events that we need to get to in a timely manner. Thank you.
Anybody from the council? Yes?
Thank you, Council President. As Mr. Conlon referenced, I did have the opportunity to go up to the industrial park this winter, especially on the snowiest of days, when a big 18-wheeler is parked on the side of the road where there's already a snowbank. It definitely reduced the size of the street and the plowability of the street. It's a real issue. I know some valid issues were raised by Mr. Mali when he spoke, and I just want to kind of address those. This ordinance is specifically with regard to parking on the street. So if you have a school bus and you park it in your driveway, that's okay as long as you're not in an R1 or an R2 district. It doesn't talk about parking off-street. Similarly, in the industrial park, it's full of 18-wheelers. And the tenants all supported this. We sent out an email through their industrial park association. They support it because these 18-wheelers aren't theirs. The ones that are in the industrial park are parked in the parking lots. Similarly, there are some residents that live on West Beacon Street that drives an 18-wheeler. He rents a spot and parks it in a parking lot. If you have a commercial vehicle, you may have to rent a spot to put it in if it's not an appropriate neighborhood driveway to have it parked in, if we already have an ordinance against that. But at the same time, it's very easy to rent a spot in a commercial lot. So it's not really impacting the industrial clients that are in that industrial park, nor is it really impacting people who drive a school bus. They can either A, park it in their driveway, as long as they don't live in R1 or R2, or they can rent a spot. They're very low-dollar rentals. They can park it in the industrial place, and some of them even let them park for free. They just want them off the street. So these aren't people dropping off and picking up. They're people coming in off the highway, coming in off River Road, off 93, for a convenient place to park to get a good night's sleep. This isn't tractor-trailer service in the industrial park. I just want to make sure people are clear on that. But I also want to say it is a citywide issue. I know we had an issue on the South Common where there's an industrial section where trucks were parked on the side of the Common. The Common is supposed to be a place of recreation, and while a part of it is zoned industrial along the side, you know, that's a place where families go to play and enjoy a park. A lot of inner-city families that don't have a big yard, that is their yard. They shouldn't have to look at 18-wheelers, especially somebody sleeping in the 18-wheeler. That's not appropriate. That's not a good use of our streets. Similarly, I'm unfortunate that Councilor Almonte is not with us tonight, because I know that this problem is happening on Ferry Street, which is in her district too, that we were just talking about this, where again, trucks are coming in off the highway, they need a few hours of sleep, and they're just pulling over because it's zoned industrial and going to sleep. That's not what pulling off to the side of the road is. It may cost them more than $50 a day to park, I don't know. So maybe the fine is low enough that they're willing to risk it to, maybe we do want to look at a higher fine, but my thought would be at least to go up to the $50 for now and to adopt it as is. I do think that there may be somebody that is negatively impacted. That's going to happen with any ordinance, and maybe we need to tweak this at some point in the future. But I think the ordinance as written suits the needs, and I do think there are alternatives for people, either A, parking it in a driveway, parking it in a rented spot. Every time the chimney trucks come in, we say the same thing to the owners. You can't park it in a residential neighborhood. You may need to rent a spot in a commercial lot. Those folks know that. I don't think that that is a surprise to anyone. We've been saying that at least for the last 4 years to truck owners, that it's not appropriate to have those in your driveway. So I just want to stress to people that I do think this is a good ordinance. I do think it's well-written. And I do think there are other alternatives for people who do live in that R1 or R2 district and can't park a truck in their driveway. Even in the industrial park, I know some of the companies rent spots, and that's a very acceptable solution. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Toomey?
Just a question. The way the ordinance reads, it says, no person shall park or leave standing on any street or portion thereof of the city of Lawrence. The city of Lawrence owns those streets in the industrial park?
Those are, yeah, on the,
I believe,
Some of them are public, yeah.
those are all public streets on the Glen Street side of the street. I'm not as sure about where Hafner's is and Gem Group on the other side of the street. I don't know if we've
But
ever accepted those roads.
On the south side of Andover Street where the park?
The
those
south
are
side
all
of Andover Street, where like the Wonder Bread side of the street,
Glen Street and...
those are city-owned streets,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. I just said that because if there weren't, then we should specify if we're going to do something with them, at least in the ordinance, but
Yeah.
you say they are.
Those
city.
are, we couldn't really govern private roads, and I don't know if the ones across the street where Gem Group is are private roads or not. I know that there's some issues out there as far as the utilities, who owns them and who doesn't, but I'm not sure about the streets.
Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes. There are a couple of things I want to mention, but I would like to speak with the gentleman that spoke of the industrial park. I just have a quick question. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
Would you like to know?
Yeah. You mentioned that there are people that park there that are actually clients, and there are people that park there that are not.
Oh, I don't think they're clients.
No?
No, a lot of these people just pull off the highway and park, and some people, they'll park their trucks there and, because they can't park them somewhere else, and they'll leave a car there when they move the truck. And a lot of them, we have cameras on our building that are motion detected at night, and a lot of times you'll see somebody in the middle of the night walking to the bushes because he's gotta go.
Right.
And, you know, it just brings another problem up. And there's always trash, you know, in the gutters, whether it's McDonald's bags or Dunkin' Donuts bags or whatever. It just breeds problems.
Because I was wondering, what would be the opportunity to create some stickers that, that would say when there are actually trucks from the, the commerce there or the industries there?
Well, anybody that's in the industrial park has their own parking lots.
Oh.
And anybody that's
So
coming...
they don't need that other piece?
No. Anybody that's coming into our yards, we sometimes will see a trailer truck come in from a certain company, we'll never see him again. 'Cause
Okay.
but he'll never be on the street because he has plenty of room to park. We rent spaces to a company that delivers food all over Maine and New Hampshire.
Right.
And Brooks Properties, he rents space to a lot of different trailer trucks
Right.
because
And so does it define itself? You know, can the police know when they're parked
You know, the police,
properly, and when it's
I
inappropriate
can
and they need
interject
to
with
tow?
that. Typically, a truck, if a truck is gonna be delivering to a facility, the drivers are in the vehicle, and they're typically gonna park on the property. They'll call ahead. Every truck calls for an appointment. So they'll call ahead and they'll say, hey, we've got a delivery coming, no problem, park on the lot at night. There's a lot
So
of the
how does
trucks,
how would the police know what to tow and not?
they'd have to ask them,
wouldn't.
because they're not gonna leave their trucks, they'd be in them. They have sleeper cabs.
yeah. As I was saying to Councilor Eileen Brunel, 25 or 26 years ago, there was a problem with the Vulcan apartment complex at the corner of Beacon
Right.
and Glen, because a gentleman across the street had a trailer truck, and he left it on the street, and he left the air conditioning units or whatever it was to keep the truck cold, and it bothered the people. So at the time, the councilors put in an ordinance, no parking on that end of Glen Street.
Right.
At the time, I thought it was the whole industrial park.
Oh.
Because how could you make one portion of the street no parking? There's a big sign up, no
Right,
trailer
no
truck, no parking.
Yeah.
And, you know, so maybe somewhere back in the archives, there is an ordinance already. Because for years, we never had anybody park on the street. Never was there anybody on the street.
I just want to clarify one thing that Counselor Alvarez is asking that I just don't think is being made clear. None of the tenants, 18-wheelers, are parking on the street. They all have big commercial lots, like they have huge lots. So if you're servicing one of those facilities, they wouldn't, so when you say, how will the cops, the police officers know which to tow and which not to tow? Anybody on the street
Should be towed.
is going to get towed, because anybody in the industrial park, the trailers coming in are going to go in behind the buildings, because that's where the delivery areas are. They wouldn't be on the street. So none of their clients are parking on the street. It's not
Okay,
their
so where I
trucks.
got confused is where you said you see people parking in the industrial park,
Well, they park
that
on the
shouldn't
sidewalk,
be
they
there.
park on the streets.
but
and-
you were referring to the streets.
Right, exactly,
Okay, thank
exactly.
you.
So if they're with the facilities, they're in the parking lots. And that's what the point is that there's so many big, huge parking lots down there. Anyone that has a customer, their customer's parking in the lot, and similarly, they actually let other people rent spots in those lots because they're so big.
Right.
Nobody parking on the street is with this company, like Conlon Paper, or any of the other companies that are down there. Their trucks are either in their own lot, or if they're getting serviced by another client, the client's trucks are in their lot. Then nobody's parking on the street, except for these Renegade trucks that don't belong there.
Okay.
And let me tell you, some of the people that park the trucks there, you really don't want them parking there.
Right.
Because they come from places that could be from outer space.
Okay. I know that there are some, thank you so much, I
You're
really
welcome. Thank you.
appreciate it. I know that there are some behaviors associated with areas where the where the trucks park, and they also do idling, which is not good for our health, and that was a big thing. The reason why I mention this is because, you know, where I live, I also live in Prospect Hill, and the old Tom Morelli site was gonna be used as a truck stop. And we had to put a stop to it. You know, our community, I was happy that, you know, my neighbors came together with me to make sure that that didn't happen, that we have another plan for that area, because there's a lot of residential, you know, maybe they think because they see the dealership or whatever, but there are real families living, you know, in that area, including myself. And we made sure that we didn't get the trucks to stop there. But is this then becoming a problem? Is then this mean that people are now parking on Ferry Street? You know,
This would be
because
citywide, so anywhere in the city.
Citywide.
The truck should not be parking
No,
on the
because you
street.
mentioned Ferry Street, and I'm saying that it's, I agree that this is happening because they have no area to park, but really where the residential homes are, you know, like that, they shouldn't be able to park. And the whole thing with the idling and the sort of not so favorable behaviors associated, which I know what you're talking about, did a whole study on that, and to find, you know, that other people, you know, sex workers and the sort, are able to do business in these areas, which is horrible for the community. So I'm just saying that we gotta find a way to make sure that it gets out there that trucks coming in should be able to rent, you know, because then you know their names and you know what I'm saying? And that definitely, we should start with this 50. And I know what the, oh God, Mr. Mahat, Malik, I know what you're saying, that we need to support people who are self-employed. I'm hoping that those people who are self-employed do in fact have a driveway, you know, and that there would be no reason then for them to fear this ordinance. But if a problem presents itself, I'm sure if you come back, we can all put our heads together and figure out a way to help that person, because we don't want anyone that lives in Lawrence not to feel welcome, and especially if they're making a living. You know, we want them to make money and be able to pay the taxes that we keep imposing. But having said that, I think that it's wonderful that we are enforcing this type of ordinance. I want to thank the ordinance committee. I wasn't a part of that full discussion, but I want to thank you for getting that off the ground, because it's so very important.
Thank you. I would like to entertain,
Just a real quick point. Number one, I'm not sure if $50 is the right amount, but if it's not, we need to readjust that. I'm not sure how we got to the $50, but I'm inclined to give it a chance to see what happens. But what must not be lost in this discussion is the enforcement mechanism. We already have a $15 ticket. Is that even going out? I'm not even sure that's even being affected. It could be for these guys, the cost of doing business. And maybe $50 is the cost of doing business, but we're not even sure if these people are getting ticketed at all. So it's good for us to create new laws, but if we don't enforce the laws, then it's rather meaningless. So I know in Market Street, for example, right alongside the South Common, that's a major area for these trucks, excuse me. And I know that received several calls from constituents who are concerned about, and Councilor Brunel was talking about that, but how it takes away from the beauty of the common, and it just takes away from the ambience of the common. And we should have the trucks go where they go. But long and short of it is, enforcement is necessary. If not, we can spend meeting after meeting crafting new laws. It would be meaningless.
Just to kind of touch on
Sure.
Councilor LaPointe's comment, if you don't mind. One thing I think this tool would do for the police department is it kind of removes the gray element, because right now tractor trailers can park on certain streets if that street is zoned industrial. And so it removes that whole element. So the police officers isn't standing there going, gosh, I'm not sure if this street is zoned industrial or not, and I don't want to ticket that car and then get protested that I ticketed the car incorrectly. So rather than go through that hassle, they just know that every street in the whole city, they can't be parked on the street, makes the whole issue go away. So I think it will actually help enforcement. But you're right, if there's no enforcement, but I think having it be universal, there's no judgment for the police officer to make as far as zoning. So I think having that go away actually helps with enforcement.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion, there's no motion. I would like to entertain a motion to approve document 6814.
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, document 7214.
Document number 72, 2014. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of General Law, Chapter 148, notice is hereby given the City Council will hold a public hearing Tuesday, April 1st, 2014, in Council Chambers, 200 Clement Street, at 7 p.m. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the consideration of approval and application for a flammable storage license for the property located at 320 South Broadway, Assessors Map 98, Lot 25, which is owned by H.J. Nassau Motor Company Incorporated, and which is for a proposed Cumberland Farms store to be located on said property. Copy of the application for license and all documents filed or submitted with this petition may be examined or were available to the public through the office of the city clerk at 200 Common Street during regular business hours. All information and filed documents were then made available to the public as well on the city website for the city of Lawrence. Persons wishing to be heard on this matter were afforded the opportunity This matter was published and advertised on Tuesday, March 25th, 2014.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this document 7214? If there is, yes, ma'am, please identify yourself.
Hi, good evening. Stephanie Kiefer from Smolak and Vaughn on behalf of the applicant, the owner, Nassar Motor Company, through TMC CF New England LLC. And what we're here for this evening is pretty limited in scope. We're seeking the approval of our application for 2 underground storage tanks to be approved on the property. It's approximately a 1-acre portion of the property, and the 2 tanks would support the gas station that's proposed to be on the site. In accordance with Chapter 148.13, it's rather straightforward. We've submitted the application. The fire department has had an opportunity to review it, and Captain Walsh has signed off on that. I'm not certain if his approval is within your packet. And so in terms of safety issues, the fire department, I believe, has no problems, and the fire department can speak to that. But if there's any questions that the councilors may have this evening, I'm here, as well as our engineer, Phil Henry from Civil Design Group.
Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee, would you like to expand on this?
Thank you. I do want to just make sure my fellow councilors know, this was not presented at the subcommittee. The applicant had a conflict that night, and they did call us. So that hasn't gone before the ordinance committee. I just want to be clear with everyone on that. The only thing I do want to stress is that, like last week, they were at the zoning board getting their zoning approval, and the representatives of the neighborhood associations were there in support. They've appeared before both the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Association and the Sacred Heart Neighborhood Association on the proposal. It's been very popularly received. Similarly, we, as a council, last fall voted to rezone the area because part of it is zoned residential to allow for this. So I don't know if you remember that, but we actually, as a body, have already voted on this once. So it has been well received by the community. I did actually talk to a member of the community tonight in the audience who wasn't aware, but he did get actually notice on this from the applicant again. So I do think, I guess, tonight's specific issue is with regard to the gas tank in particular, not the project. So just want us to keep that in mind. But I did want to just stress that we've gone through this a couple different times now, between the planning board, the zoning board, and already here at this body once.
Anybody else from the council? I'm sorry.
I yield.
You yield to him? Okay. Mr. Turner?
The only question I would have, and I think the lady answered it up here, is the application for the license. It requires a sign-off by the fire department, which isn't here. We don't have a copy of it here.
The fire department's here.
Because I have a signed copy that
Okay, well,
was received.
evidently
I
it didn't
can-
make it into our packet, because one we have in our packet
The
is not
copy on the
signed.
web is signed.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
It's on page
On the
2 of the application, and we had received it on the 26th, the signed one, so I can, happy to give you my copy.
We have it here.
We have copies.
You have a signed
We'll
copy?
provide you with one, yes.
Okay, it didn't appear in our packet then.
No, it's not, no, but
Fine,
we have
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, but
Mrs. Alvarez?
the clerk has it. I just want to say that, Counselor, I was going to call you.
Call me whatever.
I was going to call you on the plan.
Don't call me late for dinner.
Show your name.
I mean, I was going to say, what's going on over there in those late nights?
There you
So, Councilor Brunel, I love you. Councilor Brunel did a great deal of work, which I was happy. It cut my homework because she did meet with a lot of the neighborhood groups and was also at the ordinance meeting, and she was able to, to confirm for us, to affirm that everybody's good with this. So I'm looking to vote in favor of it this evening based on that information. And the abutters, we have the records here that all the abutters received mail, okay? So everyone was notified about the vote. We don't take lightly anything that's flammable or, we don't take that lightly. And it seems that it's really appropriate for this part of the city, so.
Thank you.
Thank
I also have problems trying to remember whether I should call you Rodriguez or...
Or Alvarez.
Or Alvarez, so... Yes, Mr. LaPlante.
Just real quick, in less than a minute, can you again describe for me what the project is completely, what's going to be over there? I don't need a full evaluation, just want to, just list the things that are going to be on South Broadway. at that site.
Sure. Right now, the whole project site, and, yeah, I'll have Phil pull up the plan for you. The parcel that we're talking about has been identified as parcel A. It's about a .9 acre parcel, and it's right on, if you're on South Broadway looking at it, it's kind of on your left, right on the street there. And that's proposed to be a Cumberland Farms gas station with convenience store.
A is Cumberland Farms,
Correct.
and B?
Mr. LaPlante, may I, for
Yeah,
some
look,
reason,
they even
the television went off. Can we, just for a few seconds?
Yeah.
Let's find out what the problem is.
Especially,
Huh? It is what they're working on, okay.
okay, a few minutes.
Just a few seconds. Does anybody would like to,
Broadcasting?
while we wait, does anybody would like to tell a joke?
No, the mic's on, we are going live.
It has to be a family one, though, because we're on the family hour.
Oh, you're still? Okay.
Yeah, we're all
So
set.
the problem is with this
Just the
TV? Okay,
All right, so
Okay.
would they be able to see the chart?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then let's move forward. Let's continue, Mr. LaPlante.
Oh, there we go. All right.
All right, so I don't want to take a lot of time with this, and we got a lot of stuff to do. I just want to very, very brief, if you don't mind, just a reminder, A is Cumberland Farms.
A's Cumberland Farms, Lot B, which is this dogway here, is to be determined. It's going to be retail and industrial use, but the actual uses are to be determined, and they will seek their approval through the appropriate boards, planning board, ZBA, accordingly. What you see here in this bottom left-hand corner, that's that 1 acre Lot A that's been subdivided for Cumberland Farms. It's 4,500 square foot C-store, 31 parking spaces, 5 fuel pumps, and the 2 20,000 gallon underground storage tanks that are before you tonight are located right here in that bottom right corner as well. That's the brief overview.
Okay, thank you. Mr. LaPlante?
Good, so I just want to remind, I mean, we did vote on this in the past. I'm not sure how many more bites of the apple we're going to have at this, as far as this full council level on this project. This is probably our last one, I'm guessing. So if there's any opposition, now's the time to express it. At this point, I don't have any opposition. I sense that the neighborhood groups are in favor of it. It's been vetted in a lot of different areas. I haven't heard any concerns about anything. Cumberland Farms is a well-established organization in the city. To be determined, who knows what that's, obviously, who or what that's going to be. Who's going to be managing the property? Make that determination?
This submission here is going to be, it's not going to be leased, so it will be owned and operated by the organization, Cumberland Farms themselves.
Cumberland Farms themselves, corporate.
Yeah.
So corporate's going to go out and start, you said leasing?
No, it's not a lease
Be
parcel.
selling.
It's a purchase, yep.
So you're going to be selling whatever's going to be over there to potential purchasers?
This parcel.
The dog leg.
To Cumberland Farms. The other parcel, that is to be determined. I know Mr. Nasser is going to be retaining the rear piece here for his industrial use, and I'm not sure if the third lot, which will be future subdivided, if that was going to be leased or sold. So that is to be determined.
Okay, so it's just the Cumberland Farms area, so whatever is to be determined, that may or may not need more council approval. It's already been zoned in a certain way, so depending on the usage, we'll determine whether or not they need to come before us, or before zoning, or some other board or commission.
Precise.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Not to get off topic, because I know the discussion tonight is strictly with regard to the gas tanks, but since Councilor LaPlante raised a good issue, I just want to, at the zoning board meeting, which I'm not sure if those are broadcast, but they had 4 conditions when it was zoned for the final time the other night, and it was that there would be no alcohol sales, that's condition of the zoning, so that's in their special permit, no drive-through, no payphones, and no outdoor seatings. And those were the 4 requests that came out of the neighborhood meetings. And the zoning board did approve to adopt all 4 of those conditions, and the applicant was okay with all 4 of those conditions. So I thought that was a really great sign that the applicant was willing to agree to those, and the zoning board was willing to adopt those 4 conditions. They are part of the zoning board special permit. So just, again, since it's an opportunity to let people know what's going on there, just wanted to share that.
Okay. Any other comments?
The only other comment is on the placement of the underground tanks. Because it's so close to South Broadway, is that any kind of concern at all?
It's
Is there,
Grafton Street.
does it have any impacts at all because of the closeness and the proximity to the main artery? I know it's underground, but,
It meets the minimum setbacks of 10 feet.
okay.
Okay,
That's it.
I
Go.
would like to entertain a motion to approve document 7214.
So moved.
Motion has been made and it has been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Document 8914, I'm going to send this document, Mr. Ionello, is Mr. Ionello here? Yes. Can you come forward? I'm going to send this document to the Budget and Finance Committee, together with document 11514, but I wanted to ask a couple of questions. In this document 8914, there is a list of, a series of list of how the money is going to be paid out. But there is no explanation, and I would like the attorney to provide the Budget and Finance Committee a small summary of who we are representing in those expenditures, legal expenditure, legal representation. So, again, these documents are going to go down to the Budget and Finance Committee, but I would like the attorney to provide a little more explanation as to the reason for those expenditures, legal expenses.
Okay.
Okay? Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Ionello regarding the,
Related to this, Council President, I know that this body made a motion near one of the first meetings for all the contracts and a report, and I don't recall, if we have received it, I haven't recalled seeing it. So I just want to send a tickler over to the city attorney, since this is city attorney related, and remind the city attorney the council is still waiting for the contract information from 2013.
okay?
Form of a motion.
There's a motion that we request from the attorney, information on regard to.
Reminder that the city council has already requested the contracts from 2013, have yet to receive it, and are reminding the city attorney that we are still awaiting for that information.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are you including the request of information on these items too? Would you like to include that in the motion?
Is that what you wanted?
Yes, please.
I'll make that part of the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there's a motion on the floor, and it has been properly second. Unless there is any comments, or in favor, say
So
aye.
this-
Aye.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought it was the budget and finance.
Oh,
Two, as part of the discussion.
Okay, let's take let's vote on the motion again. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Again, document also 115-14 will also be sent to the Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. LaPlante, would you like to make a motion to table document 9514?
So moved.
Oh, that's why.
There's a motion on the floor to table document 9514. It has been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Okay, let's go into committee reports. I believe the Budget and Finance, there is some, and then we're going to go into, I'm sorry,
Personnel, it would just be first as well. It's only document 8514.
8514?
54.
Oh, 54.
Yeah,
Okay, on the committee report.
yeah, on
Yes.
either.
Yes.
Yes. The personnel committee met March 17, and we had sent the item 5414. We referred this matter to the full council with a favorable recommendation to reappoint Mr. Richard Consoni, and he's here tonight. I will make that as a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I know Mr. Consoli was probably willing to speak. If he would like to address the council, that would be fine, but we all know you very well.
Well, I appreciate the council's vote of confidence, and I will continue to do my very best to advance the interests of the city.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
And a lawyer that can't find the words to speak, he's got a serious problem, because most of us, we get paid by the word.
Yeah.
Thank you. Continue, please.
Okay. Item 7814, which is acceptance of the Companion Park Phase 3 renovations. We met March 19, the Budget and Finance Committee met 19, and we sent this matter with a favorable recommendation to accept. And we had one of the representatives at that meeting. She's here today, and I would like to make that as a formal motion to accept.
Motion has been made and properly second to approve document 7814. Are there any comments, any remarks?
Yeah.
Would you like to come forward and?
She explained to us that this project includes the renovation of two main cross paths, and also to have new tables, benches, and trees. So she's here, if you guys have any questions.
Just to give you more information.
If you can give us an overview.
Certainly, councilors. Good evening. Phase 3 renovations of the Common will be a full-depth reconstruction of the two main crosspaths, including drainage improvements, reconstruction of the two entrances on Lawrence Street. They'll look similar to the ones on Jackson Street. We'll do some benches, some trash receptacles, and some tree plantings as well.
Nice. Does anyone else have, any other counselor like to speak at this time? No? Okay, so there's a motion. It's been properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Thank you, councilors.
Good. Practicing. All right, next item on the agenda is withdrawals. Okay. Councilor Rivera.
75.
Department of Public Works Director search. So that would be,
Budget and Finance.
okay, Budget and Finance. So it's been set for withdrawal. Oh,
Sorry.
Councilor,
Madam Chair, I know that we speak earlier about no report from ordinance committee, but we have the applicants that we sent that corresponded last time. The document is 313-13. The applicant is here tonight.
oh, so you would like to make a motion
No, I'm
to
just
take
letting
that
her
out of
know
order?
that we didn't have any report from the committee, but the applicant is here.
And is it on the table items?
That is on the table item, that is
Yes,
correct.
31313. So, okay, why don't we do that and then continue with the Budget and Finance withdrawal?
Done with
Or
the
can we
committee
just do these
report, we're gonna do
withdrawals?
withdrawals.
Let's just do these withdrawals and we'll take that off.
Okay.
Okay? Go ahead, Miss.
Item 17511, it was sent from the Personnel Committee to be withdrawn. It's the Department of Public Works Director Search, and I will do that as a form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Item 7813, and that comes from the Budget and Finance Committee. It's a mid-year financial review. It was sent to be withdrawn, and I do that as a fundamental motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second to remove document 7813. Are there any comments? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay,
Councilor Reyes.
I'm sorry, Councilor Reyes, do you have?
It's just a table matter that I want to take an item out of the table.
Okay.
And I will second that.
Hold on a second, let's, we will go to
It's
that.
313.
Document 17511.
We did that already.
Yes, we did that already, so it shouldn't be there. It should have been removed.
No, just now, we just.
Yeah,
Okay,
on table matters.
okay, will you make the motion again?
Yeah, can I get a motion to take document 313-13 out of the table?
I second.
There's a motion on the floor to take document 31313 out of table matters. It has been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
Madam Chair, from the Ordinance Committee, I believe.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, and I apologize, I don't remember the date of the meeting at this point, it's been a while.
Sorry.
The applicant did appear before the ordinance committee, and at that time, sorry. Thank you, sorry. The applicant did appear before the ordinance committee, and at that time, the police department was there on another matter. They were there with regard to the taxi cab renewals for the annual license renewals. And, Officer Conway, who was in charge of festivals, had said he had not had time to review the application, and he asked us to table the item, which I did do. And the applicant, though, had said he had time constraints, so he didn't appear at our next meeting. So after the next meeting, he wasn't there, we sent correspondence inviting him to be here, and we had sent it up to the full council. So I'm just trying to figure out if, in light of the time constraints, if this is still realistic. The applicant is here, so maybe if we could hear from him, Council President, would that be?
Sure.
But it came, I guess,
The same appeal.
as a committee report, it came up from the ordinance committee without a recommendation, so I make that in the form of a committee report for acceptance.
Okay, there's a motion to accept as a committee report. Is there a
Second.
second? It has been properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Great. So the applicant is here tonight, I don't know if he wants to come forward.
Please identify yourself.
54 Street, Juan Pascual. I did met with Lieutenant Colwitt, and we agreed on the plans to do this fest. Even though we agree, I told him that I didn't have the time to do it in May because of the fact, even though I applied last year, due to the new council coming up and the weather time canceled a couple meetings. The final day I came here, it didn't go through, so the time really got short. I need about 5-6 months to put this together, and today I met with the Recreation Department, and I proposed then that we should move this to next year, May 30th, 2015. He separated the date over there. I don't know what would be the procedure this time, but this would be the day that we want to do it. Next year, on Saturday, the 30th, 2015.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, let me ask,
Go ahead, please.
is there going to be a new application required if the day has been changed to a year from now?
The only issue with that, that I'm aware of, I don't think we have any problem with that. I mean, it's the same body, it would still be us. I don't think the time would be, the only thing I specifically don't know, and now it's a year away, maybe we can table it one more time to just get the answer. With Pemberton Park, that's not a city-owned facility. I think he needs to get a sign-off from the state for Pemberton Park. That's the only I mean, he needs to get a permit from the city to have a festival. You have a festival on the boathouse grounds, it's private land. You still need a permit from the city.
Perimeter Park is a state park.
State park. So I think he needs to, so I guess that would be my suggestion, is maybe we table the item here, have him get whatever sign-offs he needs from the state. He's got plenty of time now if he's gonna do it next May.
Right.
This fest in the Perimeter Park, about 20 years ago, this fest was taking place.
Okay.
I believe it's about 20 years, we don't do it anymore, but it's been done before there.
Good, no, I think
And
it's,
I don't want to run into the same situation of
Yeah.
time and applying in November.
Right.
And then they keep proposing, so
Madam
if it is
Chair.
possible, I'd like to.
The clerk just made me aware that the parking lot for Pembleton Park is city-owned.
the parking lot.
Yes,
So we would be having it in the parking lot.
yes.
Do you sir, do you hear what they said? That if you had the festival, that it would be in the parking lot, that's the city-owned portion?
I already applied for the part of the state. Once again, Nelson separated the day. Usually it's the state and it's the city. I'm here for the city. I will take care of the matter of the state in another different way. The part with it's a part that you need the date from the state. And as I speak to Nelson, I think he had the book. We went through it today.
The date is definitely available as far as the city is concerned, so we're on the same page in that matter. I guess my only hesitation is, if you need a state sign-off, I would feel better to know that you have the state sign-off. I don't want to give you authorization to use our parking lot, then you don't get the state sign-off. The next thing I know, it's spread into the state's land, and now we have culpability for allowing a festival on the state's property. So I just feel better if we had evidence of both. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. The other thing, I know with Lieutenant Conway, he had stressed that this would be he represented to us, that you represented to him, that this was not an alcohol event. There would be no alcohol.
Yeah,
So I
there
just
won't
wanna-
be no alcohol. He suggested not to, so I'm going by his recommendation.
Okay. And just, I guess my only thought would be, if we need a state sign-off, I think we should get a state sign-off. I just want to, and I guess the final piece is the insurance. I don't know if you're using the gentleman with the carnival company that gets,
If I'm using what?
are you using a carnival company? I know the carnival company that uses the common, they always provide us with an insurance binder. So I just want to make sure that we have
You mean
evidence of
John
insurance.
Flynn? Company? Yes. It's a probability it's probably that he's going to be joining me in this festival. As of right now, as I state, and putting everything together myself.
Okay. So I guess my thoughts are, we don't have evidence of insurance. We don't know if it has the same partner that they've been partnering with.
I have the quote for the insurance.
You do?
Yes.
We don't have that, so we need,
I held that you don't need it before you approve it. Once you approve it, I could bring it to you. I went to take it out, and they recommended me, if I pay for the insurance and you don't approve it, then I lose the money. So the way it works is, I already have a quote. If you approve it, I will, you could approve it pending that I bring the insurance.
Right
That's
here.
not it. That's not it. That's required
The required.
before approval.
yeah, our forms do say, the city forms do say, evidence of insurance and indemnification are required before final permit approval. Please provide a certificate of insurance which names the city of Lawrence as the additional insured. So that is right on our applications. So we require that from everyone.
I give you an example about when I came in as a managed Hispanic, they don't have the quote for insurance. You approve it. They're gonna go.
They do.
They're gonna go get it now. No,
They have it.
So not the first. Once they get it on, sometimes they get it on the same week. I went to the same company. They have insurance.
Good.
And that's what they told me. When they approve it, you come here because you don't want to pay before they approve it.
Okay.
What's about if I pay $2,000 and then you say no, and I lose the money?
Most companies will give you a binder before you put down the money. Most insurance companies, I mean, I work in homeowners insurance all day long.
Yeah.
And somebody puts down, get a binder from the insurance company that they will issue a policy should the closing happen on
If-
whatever the date is. So you usually get a binder, and that's issued
Is,
before you make any payment.
If
So-
there's an issue, then you could approve a pending the binder, and I bring it anytime. Tomorrow I could bring it to you.
Okay.
I just don't want to lose.
Councilor Alvarez Rodriguez.
Yes, I'm a little bit concerned that it seems, we've done I've done the practice of being able to approve Hamilton Park without getting the state piece, even though the people and the activity work those things out. I'm just concerned that we don't say, jump this hoop and then jump another hoop if we all agree that, May 30th you're going? Of
30th,
15?
2015,
Of 15.
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, we have time, but I don't agree that we need to be waiting for the state. That's a work that they need to do. And in past practices, we haven't requested the state, for them to bring us the state approval before we approve the use of our parking lot. Secondly, I would like to support the idea of the licensing, of the insurance company, that you have that together, since you have the 30th. And I would like us to then agree on this point, that we give him a letter saying that we're waiting for that piece in order to approve the, and that way you have a word from us that says that all we need is the insurance
Yeah, I get it.
binder, and then you'll be all set. So that the following council meeting, it can just be approved, and that will be the end of it. Because I know we messed up, you had time constraints, you did speak to the police chief, and the police chief, I would think, has some word, you know, his word should have some kind of meaning and authority. And we weren't able to support you on an event that's going to help one of our very own city agencies, which is the recreational department. So I want to make sure that you have a commitment from us, so then you can go and talk to all of the actors and singers and all of the people that you need to talk to, because you can't do contracts with them without having an assurance from us, and I recognize that that takes time to do. And I apologize that you've been waiting since November, you know, without having any kind of sense from us that you could move on this project, and it kind of made it difficult for you to have it this May. I do wholeheartedly apologize for that.
Oh, I appreciate it. I will go on and put that together. I believe the only question on that day was Lieutenant Conway wanted to meet with me. We met and we agreed to a plan to do the fest. So it's no problem, I believe, on the side of the police, because I already agreed to the plan they have. If you need any paper, I will bring. I believe now I have enough time. So, but I just want to find a package because I keep coming and coming. And, I don't see it getting anywhere.
Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee, would it be appropriate, so this won't have to come back to the City Council, that we provide a conditional approval pending the submission of insurance documents?
I'm okay with the conditional approval. I have to be honest, my bigger concern is the paperwork that's with us filed doesn't say anything about benefiting the Recreation Department. And that's, I don't understand how that works. It was said verbally at a meeting, I can say a lot of things, I'm gonna give all my money. People say, I'm gonna make a donation to the Rec Department based on the amount of proceeds that I make. Is that what we're doing? Or is it 100% of the proceeds? Like, we don't have that clearly in
I
writing.
think you could explain it, and if you need it in writing, if I may, point of personal privilege, I've been advocating for that because I myself am concerned with the recreational department not having sufficient funds to do things with the youth. So, Juan.
Yeah, you could,
Yeah, Mr. Pascual,
once
can
again,
you
that's another part you could approve a pending for the recreational to give you more information about it. But I go over that. Since I was not able to do the festival in May, I told the recreation department that no matter what, I'm gonna fund the chess summer program. We're planning to do something with the school and the children, and I will pay for it, even though I'm not able to do the fest. For next year, when I do the fest, I will be able to do more for them. It's not only for the recreation department, I'm also doing something for other organizations that I mentioned when I came here. But no
these
matter
non-
what,
I-
this year,
I've been pushing the idea of the recreational department, because, you know, that's something I've been concerned about for a while now. But, are you saying other nonprofit organizations, you know, are going, sin fines de lucros, are going to benefit from this?
yes, definitely, like I
So
said.
can you tell us
I-
how that works, so?
Yes, I'm running, I'm gonna be running a chess program. And I told to Mr. Nelson that I would like to try it first with children's school through him. And we agreed that this year we're gonna do it. Even though I didn't do the festival, I'm gonna come up with expensive to do it. And for next year, we
Okay,
probably will
we
increment.
understand that you're going to underwrite the cost of the activity out of pocket for this year because you weren't
Yes, be-
able to do the
Yes,
festival.
because I promised them.
But just explain to us how it works. When you do the festival and you collect the proceeds after you pay the people that need to be paid, is then,
Yeah,
are you going to
definitely.
be writing the
Yeah.
checks for these nonprofits and the recreational department?
How
How does it go, by step by
The
step?
festival has to cost to pay itself, and then if there is any profit, that's where that part comes. But no matter what, I'm committed to pay for that program. Just today, like I said, we're doing it this year, and I'm not doing it at the festival. So next year we'll probably do it with more. It will be stronger to do it. But this year I'm funding that part of the program. I just told him and make a commitment to that for this year. And I'm doing the fest next year.
With all due respect to Councilor Alvarez and to the applicant, I don't think her question was answered. The question I believe that was presented was, how are we going to, just explain step by step how the proceeds from the festival will get to the Recreation Department, and I don't think that question was answered.
Well, that's something that Mr. Ortiz and us, we didn't sit down. He just asked me that he needed help funding. As a matter of fact, he insisted on the basketball league. Since I'm a chess master and I know that area where I offer me in that part, I might be able to help in all this, but I committed myself to help in that part. So
Yeah.
whatever it is,
So
I'm
respectfully,
paying for the
thing is
program.
that I'm a little concerned that Nelson Diaz, is it Diaz?
Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Nelson
What am I-
Ortiz.
There's so many, no. Nelson Ortiz. I think he needs to come before the council as well, okay? Or at least give you a letter or something that states, because what happens is anything that goes to the city departments, anything like this, it has to be accepted, the money has to be accepted by the council. So, I don't know how they did it when they did the
I know.
carnivals, because I know he was looking to do something similar to the carnivals that was done by,
There is, I'm not giving him no money.
by Ms. Schiavone.
I'm running the chess program
Right.
on behalf of them. So
Of the recreational department?
whatever happen, I'm running that program myself and not giving no money to the city, no.
So, my understanding when we met at ordinance committee level was that we talked about how most of the festivals in the city support something. The Semana Hispana has a festival to support Semana Hispana, or St. Alfio's similarly to support the Feast of the Three Saints. And we asked a question, and I thought you said at that time that you were gonna run this festival, and it was gonna support the Recreation Department, and I kinda thought you said that again tonight.
The program, yes.
Right.
The
So
same thing I said.
that this festival would be to support the Recreation Department. So when we're asking, so how will that, like, come next May, you have this festival, and whatever the entertainment company is, gives you a fee at the end, they keep their money, and they usually pay a fee to the host. Is 100% of that getting turned over to the Recreation Department, 50%? I'm just trying to figure out what, when you're saying this is to support the Recreation Department, I'm trying to figure out what that means.
All right, I say it one more time. I am not giving no money to the Recreation Department.
Okay.
I'm running a program for them, and I'm running it next year without no festival. So this year I'm gonna be doing it, and it's no festival done. By next year, when I do it, I probably will come up with, me and him will come up with better idea to help more the children of the city, of the young people in the city. So this year I'm doing it.
So you're not making any commitment to the Recreation Department with this festival, that's what I'm hearing you say? You're not making any commitment to the Recreation Department with this festival. You're making a commitment to them this year for some out-of-pocket expenses on your own behalf.
I'm doing it on my own this year.
Right, has nothing to do with the festival.
Nothing with the festival because
so let's stop
because
talking
I don't
about
have the time. I don't have the time to do the fest. Since,
I understand.
Yeah.
So next
But
year.
wait, I'm sorry, the
When
point
you-
of personal privilege.
Personal
I
privilege
know
means he's
that's-
spoken to you directly, and he hasn't. We're having,
Right, but let me please, Counselor Burnell, I understand that sometimes we may put things backwards in English. When you said it has nothing to do with the festival,
right now,
I just want to make it clear that what you're saying is that this year, there's no festival, and it's coming out of pocket.
still are going to have to. Yeah.
Right. Next year, when you do the festival, that's what she's asking about. Next year, when you do the festival, how are you going to help use that money, whatever money is made from the festival, to help the recreational department?
The same way I'm doing it this year. Whatever the program costs, I will be
And
financing.
what program is that?
The chess program that I'm running
The
this year.
chess, teaching children how to play chess?
And yeah, and then doing a chess tournament with all of them.
Right, and these chess tournaments will be run in the parks with the,
We be run.
are you gonna do it in the parks, or?
We haven't defined what location. A while ago, I did it for Northern Essex. I teach 120 students in 5 different schools, and then finally I got them to Northern Essex in Hebron, and we put the tournament together. I remember it was in the Boston Globe, was everywhere. It was very successful, and I think it's going to be something good for the city once again.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
I've
gonna
done it
use the money
before.
to fund that program?
I will fund the program.
You will fund the program? Okay.
So what do we need to do with this?
Ms. La- let me, hold on a second. Let me give the word to Ms. LaPlante.
That's the same question. So what are we being asked to vote for this evening?
Well, we've been asked to vote on the approval of the festival for the year 2015, rather than this year. Obviously, there's a question of money as to whether the festival is going to support certain activities of the recreation department, and by how much, because I believe that the quantity, the amount of money that will need to be identified in order for the city council to approve, to accept on behalf of the recreational department. So some kind of quantity probably would have to be set.
Well,
Does that answer your question, Mr. Plant?
So we're going to be voting for a festival, so there's a lot of things you're voting for.
yeah.
Wow. All right, so here's I'll just express my concerns. When I'm concerned about voting for a festival next year, these sign-offs say that all the taxes have been paid for this year. There's no assurance that a year from now, those taxes may not have been paid, and now we don't have any kind of backup. So what we want to do, I think, is we want to do things more closely in time rather than spacing things out. Why not do things 3 or 4 years off the road? Well, we won't want to do that because we want to make sure that the people who are applying for these things are up to speed, in this particular case, on their taxes, and that there's no other fines, there's no other inspectional services issues that are going on. We do things a lot closer in time. So to spend it out over, how many, 14 months in time, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I understand that the applicant is frustrated, and it's been tabled, and he wants to make sure, and any sound businessman, if you can get a lead pipe cinched today, you're gonna wanna get that today. And I totally get that, but we're in government, and we're supposed to be protecting the interest of our citizens in the city, and while it seems like we may be working together on something, I think we can hold off a little bit of time to work on next year's festival. I have questions regarding the money aspect of it. Thank goodness Mr. Ryanello's here, and I think the council vice president essentially said something about us accepting monies, and I think there needs to be some sort of a mechanism by which the applicant needs to be aware of what that is. If he's going to go forward in some sort of contractual relationship with the city, I would hope that the budget and finance would include some money, that the budget and finance director is knowledgeable about this, is making sure that the applicant's interests are protected as well as our interests are protected, because we don't want anything to be untoward. We don't want to do anything wrong We want to make sure that if we go forward with this festival or chess tournament or whatever it is that you're asking for permission for, that we're doing it the right way. And it's not that we don't want it, we want to make sure it's done the right way. So I've got questions around that. There's no documentation that specifically and expressly states exactly what we're looking to do, who's getting the money, when the program is happening, all that stuff. I think as decision makers, to make our decisions, to be intelligent decision makers, we need to at least have some of that information. So I encourage the applicant to be as forthcoming, and I know that he wants to be, as possible in getting us that information so that when we do have the vote, and I do have a call from a constituent saying, why did you vote for X, Y, and Z? Do you know what you voted on? And then I do a humana, I don't really know what's going on. That doesn't put me as a city councilor in the right spot. So out of respect for me as a person taking a vote, I need to have that kind of information. And lastly, even when we even get down to this thing, I mean, we're talking about it's a Saturday. Just look on the calendar. It's a Saturday, May 30th in 2015. It looks like it's Memorial Day weekend. I just want to make sure, you know, we need to talk to you about a track record. Have you done things like this in the past? We're about to offer this place for you to do some work, and we need to have some dialogue about what kind of track record you have so we have some confidence that when we allow the applicant to do what they want to do, that the safeguards are there, that they have a support system by which they're going to pull it off. And most specifically, when I hear 11 o'clock at night, I just have too many bad memories of getting phone calls at 11 o'clock at night saying, why is the music on at this hour? And the police department is getting calls. We just need to make sure we're all on the same page so we all know what's going on. I don't know if there's a ban. I don't know what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of details here that a year from now, you don't even have the acts. I can't imagine you have the acts signed to contracts. It's too far in advance, I would think. So all this is saying is that I think we're premature at this point. Although I understand why you want to get it done. And maybe you want to do what you need to do privately. Make sure you get the okay with the budget and finance director. Make sure that any money aspects are done correctly. And then hopefully we can pull something off for the kids. Big supporter of chess. I think it's a great sport.
Okay. Councilor Reyes?
Thank you, Mr. President. I only have one question for Mr. Pascual. How long before you need, how much time you need before you're going to be holding this event? So that way, I think what we can do at this point is just to provide him a list of what he needs to bring whenever he comes in front of us. So that way, we're gonna avoid all the frustrations, you know, and all the questions that apparently he doesn't have the answer tonight. So how long before you need, if this is the year that you're gonna be holding the event?
I believe planning should not be penalized. If I want to plan an event a year ahead, I think I'm better off planning it 5 months before, because a lot of things to do. This is not the first time I come to ask permission for a fest. I've been doing it for a while, and at the Pemberton. I just saw Mike Sully, my son Richard Consoli here. When they were in the board, I came and asked permission for this type of event, and they passed. I don't understand why it's being so many negatives today. I came in November, and I applied for it, and what they told me was, you have to be up to date in your taxes, you have to get signature from all the department, which I did. I submitted, and when I came from the board, it was one item missing. I had to talk to the police. I met with Lieutenant Coway, I accepted the recommendation, and I'm back here. And now it's another subject. I think I would say this, I don't have a problem to come back, but just Bernard, since you are the head of the ordinance committee, give me a list and I come back with what you recommend, because you are the one who made the rule. I just come here with the paper that you submitted to me, and I submit it back to you.
Mr. Parquet, we understand that, and we are here to help you with whatever we can and whatever possible we can. That's why I'm asking them just to provide you a list of the documents, not only the documents, but also the question that you're gonna be asking, so that way you can bring the question. We understand it was our fault, because, actually, it was.
No,
our-
it wasn't our fault. Like,
No, I was gonna correct that. I was gonna correct that. I was going to correct
you.
that.
Thank you,
No.
Counselor. Thank you.
But, I think, things is coming in the way that we don't wanna see it. So why we don't do this? We're not gonna make in a final vote tonight, right? Am I correct?
That's correct.
We don't know that yet.
Okay, so, why we don't do this? Why we don't table? We provide him a list, whatever he needs, and ask him to come back in front of us. I know it's a pain, I know.
It's all right.
And you be coming in front of us so many times.
No, it's fine.
But I think you still need to come. I'm agree with Councilor LaPlante. I think it's too time away for us just to approve something that is gonna happen next year. So, and I don't want you to continue talking, because whatever you passing tonight, you have to come back in front of us and passing exactly the same thing. So I think you should hold on tonight, and we're just gonna provide that. I don't know who's gonna be the person who's gonna be specific to, that he can contact to it.
One more person, and then we'll clarify exactly what we are voting on for.
Right.
Councilor Aquino?
I know Pascual for a long time, and I met her at Semana Hispana, being the president of Semana Hispana, one of the biggest festivals that we celebrate here. Well done, I have to say. And I understand that we have to work together. I know Mr. Flynn, it's the person that runs the carnival. They used to do it here for the city, for the recreational department. Maybe we can talk to Mr. Flynn to see, without music, if we can extend the dates. Maybe instead of 1 day, we can have 1 day for Pascual, but since they are already gonna be here, maybe we can ask them to donate, like they used to donate for the department, and have 2 more days without music. It doesn't cost anything to us. It would add more, because they only have to bring the machines maybe 2 days before, and they will make a contribution to the city. I would like to send a letter to Mr. John Flynn from Fiesta Show to see his opinion about it.
Would you like to make that in form of a motion?
In a form of a motion, please.
Okay, there is a
Second.
motion on the floor. It has been properly seconded.
I'm
Can I
confused.
just read the motion again, please?
No, this is just a letter.
Letter, but what's the content? I was unclear,
Well,
sorry.
they used to, couple of years ago, I don't know if you can recall that, the company Fiesta Show used to come here to ask for the permit to have the carnival on the Campaign Park for the recreational department. They used to
with
come
Linda
with
Shalom.
Nelson Ortiz, and they used to give, I don't remember if it was $8,000 or $10,000 for the city, for that department. There was no music involved, only the carnival. They used to donate that to the department. Maybe, since they already gonna be here, instead of Saturday, maybe we start Thursday, Friday, and they can donate money to the city because of it.
So the purpose of the letter is
To see if they are available, if they wanted to do that with the city, and that way we can put an item on the agenda and make,
To cover the chess tournament?
well, no, it's for, they used to take that money to get the kids to work for the summer, summer jobs. They used to cover that with that money.
Right, but just a point of information. One of the things that is clear to me is that because he tries to get entertainment that attracts people, it takes a while to make contracts, right, with the bands or who you're getting to come over?
I'm sorry, what is the question?
That it takes a while, you have to do a contract with the
Definitely, yes.
entertainment?
Yes, but you don't do a
And these are people that are famous?
You don't do a contract until you don't have the venue. I've been
Right, I
trying to get the approval so I can start working on on contracts, on
what I want-
on exactly the proposal of that day. But what I would do is, it's easy. I understand it's a lot of questions. I just gonna wait for that list and I put it together. And when I come back, everybody probably will be happy.
Okay.
Yeah,
now,
I
may
propose this,
yeah.
I just want to propose this. I'm going to make it my business to meet with you and Nelson Ortiz to clarify this whole business with the recreational department.
Let me clarify.
I know that other departments,
Let me,
That's not appropriate.
let me-
why is it not appropriate?
let me,
Ordinance committee issue. If you want to send it back to ordinance, send it back down.
Why is it not
one more,
appropriate? To work on it and then it comes back to
one last thing, sir. This is my,
to the council,
this is my company asking
May
permission.
I interject?
just to make sure that we clarify.
Just to clarify everything,
Madam Vice
my
Chair,
company,
Excuse me. We need to take these things step at a time, okay? There's a motion on the floor.
There's not a motion on the floor. I had made a
There
committee
is-
report.
I made a
There's a motion on the floor to send the letter.
Send the letter.
The committee
Okay.
report was
So
accepted.
it has been properly second. Let's,
I seconded, I seconded.
Seconded.
so let's take that first, and then let's take step by step, because we are spending a lot of time on this matter. So let's take it a step at a time, okay? There's a motion on the floor to send the letter to the people in charge of the carnival to see
Yes,
whether
the
they
show.
want to
but let me,
participate. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it has been properly seconded. Are there any comments in regard to that motion?
I do have a comment in regard to that particular motion.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying,
Ca-
that we need to know, you know, what Nelson Ortiz, the director of the recreational department, is thinking. You know, did he want to get off, you know, this carnival because he was told he couldn't do the carnivals anymore?
He wasn't told.
Under the past administration, that's what he told me. That's the reason why he stopped doing
may
the carnivals.
let me say something so everybody's clear, and then you work. My company is asking permission for the park. One of the items is that I will be running a chess program for the education department. That's one subject. I will be also running, like I mentioned the other day, other programs. The fact that you send a letter to somebody, another company, I don't think is what exactly had to be done. Because like I said, I already spoke to him, and he will be part of the festival. The festival had different part. The carnival, which probably is Mr. Flynn, he's accepted. The artist presentation, the vendor, is different things. So I'm running the festival, and I'm inviting all these companies to join. So if you send a letter to somebody, I don't understand why. You either...
Councilor Aquino, if their company is intending to include those, the carnival, then probably would not be appropriate for us to approve that and then go ahead and invite them.
Yeah.
Would you like to withdraw your motion and wait until we get some additional
Well,
feedback?
The letter is just to see if they will be willing to do it. It's not
But
saying
to
that
do
they,
it with us or with them?
to do it with us, because we used to get money for the city, for the creation of department, like,
But haven't we done that with Hispanic Week, or they do it independently?
they used to do it through the city, directly with the city, with
Through the
Nelson
city.
Ortiz, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they also, you have to vote on that. Just, again, because my experience with Linda Schiavone, and she was the recreational director, she would come before the council, and she would say that she's doing the recreational, you know, for raising money for the recreational department, and it's doing a carnival, and she would come, and the people that were doing the carnival would come, and the council would approve it, but it was initiated by the recreational
But
department.
we don't have that information.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that it makes this all weird, because
I know.
Nelson should have been
I come
here.
back. I come back to the next meeting. I know what Mr. Bernard did. I put a package together regarding to that, and I come back.
Can I have a real point of personal privilege?
Yes, go
Point
ahead.
of personal privilege means someone has directed you by name, which I've been directed by name, Mrs. Brunel, several times, and you're allowed the opportunity to respond. The comment was made earlier that, Mrs. Brunel, you make the rules. I don't make the rules. I serve on a council that has followed rules that have been in place in the current charter since 1986, but as a city as a whole for over 150 years. I don't make the rules. I just want to be really clear on that. What I do try to do is get information so that we can best enforce the rules and follow them. The question that was raised at the ordinance committee level was, when we have festivals, typically they benefit an organization. Is yours going to benefit an organization? And it was turned around to me, yes, it is. It's going to, in fact, benefit the city's own recreation department. So tonight, I asked, could you please explain how it's going to benefit the recreation department just a little more clearly? Is it 100% of the proceeds? Is it 50%? I stand here before you in all humility, and if I am ignorant, please correct me, but I don't believe I ever got a clear answer to that question, and I don't think any of us did. And if you think we did get a clear answer, please help me understand better, because I don't understand the answer that
No,
we
we
got.
don't know that yet.
We didn't get an answer.
know that
Okay,
yet.
so,
No.
fair enough. So, when we say we may table this item, I don't want to hear people saying, we apologize as a council, because we've asked a very fair question and we haven't gotten an answer. I don't think we need to apologize. I guess I just want to be really clear on that. Any other time Fiesta Shows has put on a performance in the city, John Flynn has been here. And I know he was there at that very first ordinance committee meeting, because that was the same night we voted on Semana Hispana. But he's not here tonight, and he hasn't been here since, and he's never spoken to us at all on this particular festival. So I think having Mr. Flynn here, as he's been for every festival, there's no singling you out. Every time we've done a Fiesta Show, Mr. Flynn has appeared at the subcommittee and the full committee level. And correct me if I'm misspeaking,
Yeah.
but that's my recollection.
He was-
Similarly, anytime we've done something with Nelson, which the first few years I was on the council, we did do a festival to benefit Nelson in the rec department. Nelson was here. So I guess, I don't think it's being unfair to this candidate in any way to say that this should be tabled until such time as Mr. Flynn is here and Mr. Ortiz is here, that we can better understand the city's role in the festival and Fiesta Show's role. And if at that time we want to do a two-day festival to better benefit the rec department, maybe that's an appropriate question to pose at that time. I don't think we need to run off and have private meetings. I don't think we need to do, I think it's to table the matter, to invite Mr. Flynn, to invite Mr. Ortiz, so we can just finalize the item as we would any other carnivals. People saying that he's being treated differently, I don't think he is being treated differently. I think that's exactly the treatment we've given every carnival and every festival, and to do differently would be to treat him differently. And I just want to be very clear on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Point of
there
personal
is a lot of-
privilege, I'm sorry, but I need to say this. When I said that I would take responsibility for going, I have done that in the past, have gone and talked to people and tried to clarify what's going on so that all parties are benefit and satisfied. Not because there's going to be any bamboozling or conniving or anything like that. And I really do feel offended by that. Because I have in the past
Who said
always...
bamboozling? Who said, you putting these words in?
Because the way you say, there also have to be any private meetings. That in itself implies
No, it
that
doesn't.
there's something private going on, that we're not gonna do it in front of the public because of whatever. But, and I'm not treating him differently. I have other constituents have come, and I have gone with them to the city departments to help them understand better what's going on.
Okay.
So I want to be clear on that. And I do know how to use a point of personal privilege, especially when people are being sarcastic. And that lets me know that it has to do with something that I have said. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow.
That's it, yeah. Wow.
Okay. Obviously, there is a
Yeah,
great
and
deal
so
of
would you.
information. Let's stop the conversation, okay? There's a great deal of information that we need before we proceed with this document. We need to know how the Recreation Department is going to get involved. There is a motion on the floor that should or should not be carried through because we lack information on how the Recreation Department is going to get involved. Okay, so it seems to me that the motion,
All right.
if it is your wish, should be withdrawn,
Yes.
pending information from the Recreation Department on how they are going to get involved, how they are going to benefit financially, and I believe that if they're going to get involved, how and in what capacity, and we need a great deal of information.
I
So,
will withdraw my motion.
okay.
And
But I would like to do,
I think
hold
I
on,
wanna
hold on,
make a
hold on, hold on,
motion
hold on, hold
to
on.
withdraw the item,
What item?
the item 13.
Document?
31313, I would like to withdraw that item. Since we have to May 25th, we can start this all over again and proper, because I am really fed up with the process.
You wanna, okay, you are making a motion that item 313B withdrawn.
May be withdrawn, and since we have till next year, we can, get all the signatures and get everything that we need.
Don't you think it would make more sense to table it?
Send it to committee.
Table it and send it back to the committee so that all the appropriate
Yeah,
information,
I would like it tabled at this level.
this level.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
There's a motion to table document 313-13 to be dealt with at this level, and it has been properly second. Before we vote on the motion, Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee, I assume that there are documents there that needs to be updated before we even approve that required up-to-date signatures, especially from what Mr. LaPlante mentioned, taxes, up-to-date, et cetera, et cetera. Can we,
Saying to withdraw and start the process. but-
well,
If we withdraw, we have to wait.
if we table it, then we can go ahead and any documents and any other requirements that are submitted will be, then we can deal with it,
Right.
okay? So,
Second.
again, we are voting on the motion to table the document pending additional documentations from the,
Motion table stands alone.
yes, yes, okay?
Okay.
Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the ayes have it.
So when do I come back?
We table, I'm sorry?
When do I come back for the?
When did you come back? I believe that Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee will probably be in contact with you regarding documentation and Mrs. Alvarez Rodriguez.
I know what you want.
Okay?
We can put it together. So to the ordinance committee or here? I just
No,
wanna
it
know-
will be here.
To the full council?
It will be kept at the full council
Okay.
level.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other matters that anybody would like to take from table matters? No, okay. What I'm going to do is go ahead with the assignment of the new business, and then,
Council President, are you gonna assign the old business to housing perhaps, or has that been assigned to someplace under? no?
Old
It's gonna
business,
stay
yeah.
there?
the old business of the, I'm sorry,
3213, is it your desire to keep that under old business, or is it your desire to move that to a committee?
Move it to
Council
committee.
President, if I may, the only reason I
Yes.
placed it on the agenda was that the council had ordered it placed on the agenda after some operation of this new ordinance back in 2013, which was approved on April 16th of 2013. So at the pleasure of the council, wherever you would like it to go, wherever you would like to.
what I would like to do is wait until Councilor Vasquez comes back, and then we can address that and find out more information, okay?
I'll carry it forward on the next
Yes.
agenda.
Yes, okay. If there are no other table matters, what I would like to do is assign the new business, and then there is a matter of concern. There's somebody from the city here? Is anybody from the city?
No, for
Okay.
what?
No, well, I already, from the mayor's office.
They're watching upstairs.
Did she step out? I'm sorry?
Locked herself out of the office. Just brought the keys.
But she's gonna come back? Okay. Can you let her know that we need to ask her a question? Okay, in new business, the document 9014 is gonna be assigned to the ordinance committee.
So you're not gonna deal with this?
I'm sorry?
You're not gonna work on this today?
Yes, we said that we were going to conduct that.
The clerk didn't
Huh? There's nothing published right now?
I've sent it up today to the city attorney for review.
All right, so I did my
Okay,
homework.
then we will need to wait until the next meeting then.
I expect to
Yes.
hit publication this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Regarding that, so we have it at two stages or two tiers. So are we going to include both tiers now for the 15th, or are you going to still delay everything by another 2 weeks?
Only one, only that list that we made out the last time.
Yeah, those are the
Okay,
ones I found.
the others will be dealt with separately. Okay, document 9014 is going to the ordinance committee. Document 9114, confiscated drugs and money taken off our streets, is going to the budget and finance committee. Document 9214, all gold dealer license, ordinance committee. Document 9314, all school block party, going to the ordinance committee. Document 9414, Lawrence High School campus scholarship check, also going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 9714, the community group, requesting permission to use the Camden Common Park, Ordinance Committee. 9814, all licenses and permits review. That's going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 9914, all charges of services review, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 114, second-hand dealer, Ordinance Committee. Document 10214, handicap parking, Ordinance Committee. Document 10314, acceptance of an increase to the 2013 Safe and Successful Youth Initiative Grant, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 10414, Asociación Ministerial Evangélica del Área de Lawrence, Ordinance Committee. Document 10514, Asociación Ministerial Evangélica, again, requests a hearing regarding the city trash removal, Ordinance Committee. Document 10614, appointment, Water and Sewer Commissioner. That's going to the Personnel Committee. Document 10714, appointment of the Planning Director, Personnel Committee. Document 10814, appointment, Prospect Hill Historical Commission, Personnel Committee. Document 10914, appointment, Zoning Board of Appeal, Personnel Committee. Document 11014, Miranda's Restaurant, request permission to place tables, Ordinance Committee. Document 11114, 2015 CDBG and home grants, that's going to the Budget and Finance. Document 11214, the Lawrence Police Officers and Lawrence Firefighters, physical fitness, that's going to the Personnel Committee. Document 11314, Iglesia Adventista, request to hold Christian March, that's going to the Ordinance Committee. And document 11414, Monte de Oración, request permission to hold religious procession on May 31st, that's also going to the Ordinance Committee. Council members, somebody, oh, yes, somebody from the city. Document 10714, I was informed that the planning director, who has not been approved, I believe was starting today, and I will need to confirmation on that. Can you come forward and let us know whether that information is correct or?
I was told that any questions that the council had for me to just take, and I will get that back to you.
So there's no information as to whether that person started today or not?
She did start today, yes,
She did start today.
but any questions,
Okay, okay, okay. I have some serious concerns, and the reason why I wanted to confirm that or not, I have some serious concern when a person is placed at work on a position that requires city council approval. And obviously, that's totally irregular. It has never happened before that I can remember.
It actually, through you, Council President, may I just give a point of
Yes, go ahead.
information? You mentioned that earlier, and I've been thinking about it since we spoke earlier this evening on the matter, and I agree with you. It does bother me that someone was put in a position before the vote. But at the same time, in 2010, when the last mayor took office, specifically the Personnel Director, Frank Bonet, he was appointed and served as the interim before the appointment of the final vote. Similarly, Mr. Blanchett was appointed to be the Economic Development Director. And again, he served as an interim until the final vote. And I think our charter does, or actually, I shouldn't say charter, our ordinances allow for someone to serve as an interim for, I believe it's 60 days.
But that's
So-
an interim
Right.
position.
So I do think maybe the wording was bad on this, but it does bother me that it happened the way that it did. But at the same time, there is a precedent. With the last administration, I can think of two off the top of my head that are people that do require final vote that did get appointed and served immediately and came down for the vote after the fact. So to say it's unprecedented isn't quite accurate.
Okay, if I recall correctly, Mr. Bonet had worked for the city before, so he was re-entering
But he wasn't
the
a city
city.
employee at the time, right?
Okay.
You're right, he had held that exact position years before.
So it's not the same situation.
Well, he was not a city employee at all, and he
Okay,
stepped into that role, so.
Okay, but it was an interim position. Okay. Interim position into a position that he had before.
I mean, using the same logic, Mr. Blanchett technically was a city employee because he had served on the council, but he was, he was no longer, since January, he was no longer the counselor. Then to get appointed to be the Economic Development Director a few weeks later, it's not a role he'd ever had before. He did serve that as the interim until we took that final vote. So again, both of those are examples of people that, maybe because we were slightly more familiar with them, it didn't jump out at us as much, but it's not unprecedented. I just want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look at the file and the letter that was sent to this person, and the letter says, it doesn't say interim.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there are some monetary offers that needs to be addressed by this council. Okay, and again, my biggest concern is, number one, that the person is already started working without the approval of the council. And again, based on the letter that I read that was sent in her file, it's not an interim position, and that there are some offers that are made there that I believe will require approval of moving money, additional monies from some area, and I don't know whether Mr. Ionello has been approached on that. So there's a great deal of concern that proper procedure has not been followed. Okay, and what I would like to do is, from this council, request from the mayor a clarification as to why the person that has not been approved by the city council that requires council approval started already working with conditions that has not been approved by the city council. Okay?
So,
Yes, go ahead.
through you, Council President, so what we are going to do, are we going to send it out to personal, or what are we going to do now, just to?
Well, no, this matter is going down, this document is going down to
Yeah, to
personnel, but I think that we need to request from the mayor some clarification, and because Mr. Ionello, I spoke to him, and he was not aware that the person was
Okay.
starting today.
So, and
Okay,
that is.
so that gives me greater concern, because there are certain monetary offers that were made that the budget, that the finance director is not aware of.
Right, agree.
Council
Okay.
President? Yeah, as I had mentioned to you earlier today before the meeting, that I have been concerned that there are certain processes that we haven't been following. And even if people that were before us in the administration or even in the council, if they did it that way, it was wrong. So, like, especially when we look at Blanchett, that is unprecedented, because he came out of the city council, and you're supposed to wait X amount of
Yes.
years before you can even serve in the capacity for the city. So, or for even any business, corporation that has to do with anything that you handle before for the city as a councilor. So there have been mistakes made, but it's time for us to start correcting it. It's time for us to begin to clear, procedures and policy and practices so that when people come before us, they know exactly what to expect.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so
Okay.
I
like
wholeheartedly
to
believe that we should,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want.
I would like to
a motion.
entertain a motion to
A
send a
motion.
letter to the mayor requesting clarification on
I
this
so
matter.
move.
So, would you like to make the motion?
Yes, I
Okay,
move to make the motion.
Second.
Motion has been properly second. Are there any other discussion any others?
I'm sorry.
Yes, go
I'm
ahead.
looking in my packet that, in the folder, is that where this letter is? That's, this letter?
It was
Was it a
mailed-
contract or what was it? This is
I
my- this is my
believe that
mailbox.
It's just
that
a
letter
letter.
is in
With the-
the applicant's folder.
Right.
Right.
But
This folder that we got received, each one of
It's
us
not,
received?
I don't believe it's there.
So where, so I'm just,
This letter here?
Put it,
I don't believe it's there. It was,
That is.
tax,
the only reason why I'm
tax
bringing,
bill,
the only
bill
why I'm
number.
even asking that question is that and I'm struggling to try to find it, but I know there's an ordinance that requires there to be submitted to the council upon nomination, several items. One is the name of the applicant, the resume, and then any financial terms, any contracts, that's part of it. So if that was submitted, that's a good thing. We should be getting that. And so that shouldn't be a problem at all. I do hear what you're saying, and I will
I have
add
it
to.
right here, the,
And I will add
Charter
to
requirements.
that, that in the last 4 years, there was a matter of convenience when it came to personnel stuff. And I think for all of us, including the mayor's office, including us as a council, we need to get some certainty. What's the difference between interim? What's the difference between acting? What's the difference between provisional? These are all codes of art, and I've read this thing frontwards and backwards, and I know you can drive a truck, whatever's convenient, any mayor can go in and drive a truck through it. And I think that, we all know the mayor fairly well, and he wants to do things the right way. And I think that, and we do as well. And so I think what we want to do is just have the language set up that enacting means you have somebody that says that already on the city payroll, that you're putting in, bumping up to work on a position for some time. A provision, and that's 90 days. A provisional says something like a year, but there's always these loosey-goosey things. So I think as an ordinance, we need to be more clear. And that
is why the motion is requesting clarification. Because again, you don't have that letter there of the offer.
I don't have it here, no.
It was removed from our pack.
you don't have it.
No, I know you don't have it. I know that. Yes, you don't have it. It was removed.
Bill doesn't have it either.
But again, I think that we should get some clarification. And the intention of the motion is to do that, to get clarification on this matter from the mayor, to make sure that we are not doing things that are inappropriate.
I think the onus is on us, frankly. I think the onus is on us to craft an ordinance that is clear. Because right now, it's not the mayor's responsibility to craft that ordinance. We're the lawmaking body. We need to make sure that we have set aside what is interim, acting, or provisional, and then we need to either scrap them or be clear about what they are and when they're applicable. The mayor's just using the rules that are in the books right now. What we need to do is make sure that we need to have the right rules in play, and so that he understands what the rules are and then brings it down to us. I am not sure at this point that, I'm hearing that maybe done something wrong or backwards. I'm not sure of that quite yet. I'm not sold on that yet. But I think as a favor, not only to us, but to him, and we can make this work better, we need to make that happen. So maybe we could how about this? Can we put something on a new item for the council agenda? I don't know if we can do this. I'm not gonna do that, 'cause
Well, that can be,
No, I don't
we
want to do
we can enter into discussion with
The trailer
ordinance revision that we are doing, so we can probably,
But it's not a charter thing, it's an ordinance, not a charter.
well, no.
It's not a charter review, these are ordinances that need to be
Okay, okay.
So we'll
Then probably,
It's an ordinance change.
okay, then probably you should,
I don't want to do it as an emergency, I don't want to beat that
Just
horse.
point of clarity, can you clarify for us, Mr. President? You said the letter doesn't state acting or provisional.
no, it doesn't. It
or
simply says that
interim,
when the person is starting.
And that's why we're asking him for clarification, because we don't want to say that he's done anything wrong. We
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
that
no,
he's done
no.
anything wrong.
It's just that, as far as I can remember, and again, there may be something similar with Mr. Bonet, but as far as I can remember, no person has been put to work that requires city council approval
Right,
before the approval is given.
right.
Okay? And again, this is because obviously there are some financial conditions that needs to be approved by the council,
That too.
okay? So we know that we are voting on a motion to request the mayor to submit clarification on this matter. Okay?
You're here.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you. There is a matter, yesterday at the Personnel Committee, we had a discussion on a motion that we took at the last city council meeting. It was the motion to, not to renew the city's attorney's contract. Okay. And Mr. Toomey, and I, and Mrs. Aquino, and Sandy, it seems to have, we had a different recollection of what we actually approved. So I promised Mr. Toomey that we were going to get some clarification tonight regarding that motion. Do you recall, do you have information on that motion? It was the motion to reject, not to renew the contract for the city attorney.
Yes, the only thing I can inform the council is that my notes and the assistant clerk's notes and the draft minutes that we're working on, as well as the document, show that the motion made by Councilor Reyes, specifically, and I quote, is not to renew the contract of the city attorney, city attorney body. That motion was seconded by Councilor Aquino and unanimously approved by a vote of the council, with Councilor Alvarez Rodriguez being absent.
Okay. It is the opinion, if I may, Mr. Toomey, it is the opinion of Mr. Toomey that because of the way that we got the information, that the action that the city council took may not be legal.
Right.
Obviously, we differ on that, because regardless of whether the mayor was not right in sending the letter, because he didn't have the authority to do so, the fact is that the city council took a vote not to renew the attorney's contract based on that information. But that doesn't mean that the action, again, in my opinion, that doesn't mean that the action that we took is illegal, because we obtained the information from something that was, from a document that was illegal. Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you very much. We had the city attorney's contract in our packages. Paragraph 2 of the city attorney's contract says that if you don't renew 90 days before, or you don't issue non-renewal 90 days before, it will automatically renew. And it implies that it's for a period of 5 years, as that was the initial period was for. So in order to prevent a contract not to have been reviewed in 15 years, we voted to not renew. We based it on the city attorney's contract that was in our packets. If the mayor sends a letter in addition, we talked about, I actually remember using the example, belt and suspenders. If the mayor wants to send a letter, he can be the belt. We send a letter, that's the suspenders. But those are two separate and distinct acts.
Yes,
So I don't think there's anything, and I know there's a question of what kind of notice was sent, but I would use the legal term of actual knowledge. City attorney walked in the room during the discussion. There's no doubt in my mind he has actual knowledge that that vote occurred. He was in the room. So whether he got the letter or not, the minutes are available, but the biggest thing is he's sitting here. There's most definitely actual knowledge. But if notice was not sent, we need to send it. We need to send it.
Yes, that will go out tonight. That will go.
But I don't think there's anything illegal about our action, because we based it on a contract that we are privy to, we're a party of that contract as a council. A prior councilor sounded on our behalf, and we are a party in that contract, and we absolutely can take votes under that contract. So if the mayor did something not quite accurate, that's the mayor's issue, but we as a body, we're within the scope of our own contractual rights.
I believe that as part of that motion, just one second, Mr. Toomey. I believe that as part of that motion, it was mentioned that the personnel committee with an outside attorney and the mayor's office were going to be part of a committee that were going to review the contract.
Over the next 90 days,
but
yeah.
It's not part of the motion.
It was not part of the motion.
The only motion that was made. The only record of the motion, and I can get the DVD for you if you'd like, is that the motion was not to renew the contract of the city attorney body, quote, end quote.
Okay. Mr. Toomey.
Yeah, yes, the item appeared on the agenda as coming down from the mayor, question coming out from the mayor. And he sent down this letter in which he spelled out, at this time, the office of the mayor is notifying the council that the city is exercising its option and issuing said notice of renewal, of non-renewal in order to avoid this automatic 5-year renewal. I did some, as you know, on the personnel committee level, I did some investigating on it, and I found out that this letter basically is illegal, because he has no authority to do that. And so anything taken from that letter, in this
No.
case here, notifying the council of a non-renewal is illegal.
Let me ask
Even the vote that we took
No.
is illegal.
Through you, Council President, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
I agree with you that there may be, I think you raise a valid point when you say there may be issues with the mayor's letter. I absolutely think, and that's why that night I brought up the concern that we as a body should take our own vote, separate and distinct from that letter, because we have contractual rights, and we should take our own vote, separate and distinct from that letter. So,
But we did not, had this letter never come down, we would have known about it. We would have known.
no, we would have, yeah. That was getting on the agenda one way or another, because I've been watching that contract, we've been talking about that contract. To say that we only know about it through that letter is not accurate.
That may be very well. But according to what happened, what came down, the letter came down, it was addressed to the council, and the council went ahead and utilized some of the data inputted on this letter to form this motion to send a non-renewal of the contract. So if this letter is illegal, that is illegal.
No.
No, the decision that the council made.
We had this argument last night for about.
No, I understand that, but let me say this.
What we should do is to send it out.
The decision.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Go ahead.
Until we send it out and ask for an outside opinion on the whole process before we go ahead and decide which is which.
Okay. Before, if you want to make that in form of a motion.
I would like to make that in the form of a motion.
Okay.
That this particular question be sent out to an outside outside legal lawyer and have him come up with an addition for us.
There's a motion on the floor to request a legal opinion as to whether the vote that the city council took.
Based on?
Not based. It was not based on the letter.
Where'd you get the words?
From the contract.
It was not based.
From the contract.
But the contract came up through this thing.
No, the contract is the contract.
No.
But the point was, the council was notified about it with the
But that was exactly why we took
contract
the
in
vote,
here.
Council, with all due respect, Councilor Toomey, and I respect you greatly. With all due respect, though, we had this exact conversation 2 weeks ago when we took the vote. And at that point, I agreed with you that I had concerns if the mayor's letter was accurate or appropriate. And so I suggested, through the council president, that we take our own independent vote, because I didn't think that that letter was consistent with what the charter allowed us to do. So my point is that we took a separate vote, separate from that letter.
I understand that, but the verbiage from the letter was what prompted us to take a second to.
It's irrelevant. That's not relevant.
It doesn't matter.
Relevant.
It doesn't matter where the information came from.
If this thing didn't come down. That's my point.
I disagree.
We are going to continue disagreeing, and obviously, you have a.
Point of information.
Hold on. Let me see whether the motion will follow
Okay.
through.
All right,
There's a motion on the floor. Yeah, the motion by Mr. Toomey is that we request a legal opinion as to whether the action of the city council in not renewing the contract for the city attorney is legal or not. That's the motion.
Outside firm is what he said, right?
I'm sorry?
Outside firm is what he wants.
Outside, yes, because obviously we cannot ask the attorney to provide a legal opinion. There's a motion on the floor. Is there any second? If there's no second, the motion dies. Okay. Now, let's try to limit the dialogue on this matter.
All right, I
because-
haven't spoken
Because
on
I
this
think,
matter
I
at
think the motion was very clear as to what we voted on. And my recollection is that we took our own action because we felt that the letter that the mayor sent was inappropriate. Okay, that's my recollection.
All right.
And so,
What, excuse me?
Yeah, just for the record,
Did we mention that night?
I'm sorry?
Did we mention that the letter was illegal that night?
I don't
we
think it's
mentioned- yeah,
illegal.
Yes, it was mentioned, no, it was not mentioned that it was illegal, but that it was inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I believe those were the words that Councilor Bernard mentioned.
Right.
The clerk is checking his notes.
I'm sorry?
The clerk is checking his notes on that one.
yes, I'm just,
Hold on a second.
My notes indicate my notes indicate that Council Brunel cited 3.6 as the operating section of the charter pertaining to the city attorney, suggested that the council take a vote and acknowledge. There was no motion made. The submission stated that the contract should be reviewed and council should send notice of non-automatic renewal. Again, these are shorthand notes. I would suggest the council obtain a copy of the DVD to see exactly how it proceeded as to that. I think these, and I checked these notes against the assistant clerk's notes, they're exactly the same.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't believe,
What does that mean, though?
I'm sorry, just give me a second. I don't believe that everything word by word is written by you guys, which is impossible. Okay, so we can actually review the tape so that we can, I do recall the fact that it was mentioned that because the letter was inappropriate, okay, that we should take our own vote. I remember that.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know how many of you remember, do you remember that?
well, I was,
I do.
Okay, so, at least 6 of us remember that was the case, that because there was a sense that the letter was inappropriate, that we were going to take our own vote to make sure that we didn't go beyond the 90 days. But, again, to address your concern, I think it would be wise to look at the tape and review it and see.
9 copies.
It's actually on YouTube. We don't need to make copies anymore. You just go on.
Okay.
I'll make copies anyway. I
Okay.
think
No.
Let's.
if I may, just to be cautious, I know tonight, midnight.
Yes.
Supposed to be the 90 days,
Yes, that,
according to my research.
yes,
Right.
that will
So
go
I
on.
would, with the things that were asked, it wasn't part of the clerk's memory as written, that a letter, it wasn't said or whatever, that a letter saying that the city council will not
That notice will be given.
renew, right?
Yes.
So that notice be sent
Exactly. That-
urgently. And I would like to make that in the form of a motion so that we're covered in, okay?
There is a motion on the floor that a letter be sent to the city attorney, informing him of the decision made.
Through
Add-
email, through every
Yes,
fax and
Text.
text.
Is there
yeah.
a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion has been properly second. Are there any discussions? None.
Just from the fact that From my perspective, again, too, I'm going to vote no on this, because
Okay,
from my
that-
perspective, I
that's
don't
fine.
believe that this is a proper procedure.
Okay. Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 No.
Roll call?
Council Vasquez, noted. Council LaPlante.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
No.
Council Reyes.
Yes.
Council Almonte, noted. Council Aquino.
Yes?
Council Brunel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Alvarez Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Council President.
Yes. Okay, the ayes have it. Are there any concerns, any other concerns? If there is none, I think I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Are you at council committee meetings? Just a reminder of committee meetings. Can I do that? A reminder?
Yes.
Housing Committee will be meeting on April the 7th, that's next Monday. There's a special meeting, deal with the alleyways at 6 o'clock. Anybody can show up. If we show up, we'll take minutes, et cetera, et cetera. But at 7 o'clock is the regularly scheduled meeting, and at that point, we have one item on this agenda. It should not take long. We should be out of here fairly quickly, but, so Housing Committee, definitely be here for 7, 6 is optional.
Just a reminder also that the Ordinance Committee is meeting this Thursday with a lot of work. My Lord, we have, we have a lot of work to do. Okay.
Budget
motion
and
to adjourn the meeting?
Finance.
Budget and Finance?
Budget and Finance tomorrow at 7.
Tomorrow. Huh? Is Mr. Vasquez going to be here, Councilor Vasquez?
No, he's not.
Okay. Okay, a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Finally.